class. I am so excited that you are watching this video. I hope it helps you out a lot. All right, so today we are talking about adjectives. So what I would love for you to do right now is to please take out your language book and let's open those up to page 173. All right, let's review. An adjective. Remember that is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. And remember that a noun is a person, place, or a thing, and a pronoun takes the place of a noun. So he, she, it, we, us. Those are all pronouns. So if we look at some examples of adjectives, sweet, cold, red, tall, fast, shiny, those are all words that can describe a noun or a pronoun, so those are all adjectives. Now, if we are trying to identify an adjective or figure out if a word is an adjective or not, there are some questions we can ask ourselves to help us. Those questions are, which one, what kind, how many, how much, or whose. So if we're reading a sentence and we're trying to figure out if a word is an adjective or not, we can ask ourselves those questions. Now, you may remember before spring break, we talked about a and the. And we said that a and the are always adjectives, and those are called articles. So if you're reading a sentence and you see a, and, or the in it, just remember that those are always adjectives. Now, when we are trying to locate an adjective in a sentence, usually the adjective will come right before the noun that it describes. So let's take a look at an example. The furry rabbit hopped away. What's a noun? What's our noun in the sentence? Rabbit, okay? Well, what kind of rabbit? Furry, right? So furry is describing rabbit. Furry in this sentence comes right before rabbit, okay? Now, sometimes, though, a sentence can be mixed up. All right, so in our next example, the rabbit is furry. Well, what's our noun? Rabbit. What kind of rabbit? Furry. This time, though, furry comes later in the sentence. It's at the end. When this happens, this is called a predicate adjective. Do you remember when we were splitting up sentences and we had subject and predicate? I know you remember that. All right, so predicate adjectives are found in the predicate part of a sentence, but it still describes the subject, okay? So there are some tests we can try out to make sure that a word is an adjective when it comes in the predicate of the sentence. All right, so the one test we can try out is we can rearrange the sentence ourselves and put the word we think that might be an adjective in front of the noun. So if we did that, we would rearrange the rabbit is furry, move furry in front of rabbit. All right, so that would become the furry rabbit. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. All right, so another test we can try out would be to put the word very in front of the word and see if it makes sense. All right, so let's try that out. The rabbit is very furry. Does that make sense? It does. So that lets us know that furry is an adjective. All right, let's try another example here. All right, the bridge is narrow. Well, what kind of bridge? Narrow. But narrow comes in the predicate, so let's put our test in place to make sure that narrow is the adjective. All right, so let's start by moving narrow in front of bridge and see if it makes sense. The narrow bridge. Does that make sense? It does. Okay, let's try our next test out. Let's put very in front of narrow and see if it makes sense. The bridge is very narrow. Does that make sense? It does. All right, perfect. So now we know that narrow is an adjective. All right, let's try another example. The teacher is here. Now the word we think might be an adjective is here. And let's put our test in place to see. All right, so first, let's start by moving here and putting it in front of teacher and see if it makes sense. The here teacher. Does that make sense? No. Okay, but let's make sure and let's try our next test out. And let's put very in front of here. The teacher is very here. No, that does not make sense either. Now we know that here is not an adjective. All right, perfect. Does this make sense? I hope so. I know you guys got this. All right, let's take a look on page 174 in Think See. All right, now, sometimes more than one adjective can describe the noun. So let's keep that in mind in these sentences. You might have 1, 2, or more words that describe the noun, okay? So our directions say to underline all of the adjectives in the sentence, including the articles. All right, remember the articles are a and the. All right, let's take a look. A tiny white mouse ran across the floor. All right, let's start off with the articles first. Do you see any articles in this sentence? Do you see a, an, or the? Yes, I do. All right, so we got a, the. Perfect. All right, so we've got those underlined. All right, now let's see if we can find some adjectives here. All right, let's take a look. Let's find a noun. Mouse. All right, what kind of mouse? White. White. That's describing the mouse. But let's make sure that that's all. A tiny mouse. What kind of mouse? Tiny. Oh, okay. So tiny and white describe mouse. So those are both adjectives describing mouse. All right, so in that sentence, we should have a, tiny, white, and the. All right, because a and the are the articles. Tiny and white describe mouse. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Miss Snow pricked herself on the sharp little needle. All right, so again, let's start with the articles. Do you see a, an, or the in the sentence? Oh, yep, I do. All right, the. Okay, so we have the article underlined. Now let's look for the for some more adjectives. All right, let's take a look. Needle. Okay, needle's a noun. Do we see any words that describe needle? What kind of needle? All right, little. What kind of needle? A little needle. Are we done? Do we see any more words? Sharp. Sharp. What kind of needle? Sharp. All right, so sharp also describes needle. All right, so in that sentence, the is an article. All right, so we should have it underlined. And the words sharp and little describe needle. So those are all adjectives, so we should have those underlined as well. All right, I know you guys got this. I know you can do it. I believe in you. So what I would love for you to do now is to work on Think 3, 4, and 5. We just did 1 and 2 together. I would love for you to work on 3, 4, and 5 by yourself and see if you can get that. Now, if you can't, you can ask somebody there with you. You can jump on that video conference call with me. I'll be happy to help you, or you can give me a call. I'm here for you. Just do the best you can. Don't give up. Believe in the power of yet. You may not understand this yet, but you will, okay? I believe in you. I know you can do this. All right. I will have another awesome video for you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.